Hey everybody, DJ Selby here from Movie Sense. Me and the boys, after watching Avengers Infinity War, we got together and we just hashed it out about the aftermath and about what can happen moving forward. Safe to say this is spoiler territory, so you've been warned. We specifically talked about the death of Gamora as well as half the universe and what can the Avengers do to fix this with Marvel. Thank you and please enjoy. So is Gamora really dead? Because here's the thing, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, you know, she's a part of that franchise. It's already been announced. Yeah. All right. It's already set for 2020. And they haven't given us too much of the plot, but we know some of the main characters from the Sovereign, from Guardians of the Galaxy Part 2, Volume 2. The Sovereign is going to be in this new film. They hinted at Adam Warlock.
Yep, for the last two movies.
For the last two movies. In their after credits, they hint at Adam Warlock. With that being said, things start to go full circle with this. Because Adam Warlock in the comics has the Soul Stone. He's attached to the Soul Stone. You know, I'm not saying that everything in the comics is going to be translated in the film, but there's a lot of coincidences. And this is where it starts to kind of give me the idea that Marvel, the cinematic universe, may be shaped in a certain way from aspects of the comic. For example, Adam Warlock, you know, he's this artificially created superhuman. He's near perfect.
Yeah, people call him like the space Jesus. Is pretty much what he is.
Right. He's he's so perfect. They call him, and he resurrected at one point too. He resurrected himself, just like Jesus. Yep. So this being comes in contact with the Soul Stone, and he's able to draw his own soul into the gem itself and to be stored there, as well as the souls of others, and then he can draw them out at will as well. This place is called Soul World. Go figure. That's the name of the place. It could be utilized as a prison, or it could be utilized as I quote, to be a paradise of understanding and contentment. So it can be this just beautiful, magical place. Yeah. With that being said, is Gamora's soul maybe in that Soul Stone? Because the orange aura of it, we saw that when Thanos snapped his fingers. Yeah. And he appears in front of the child version of Gamora. And it looks like the movie alludes to some form of that, right? That soul world, that dimension within it. I mean, what do you think about that concept? You think it's far-fetched?
So at that scene when Thanos actually meets the younger version of Gamora, that has to be a scene where I think Thanos sees her physically. And it is set in the back with the backdrop of an orange hue. So Gamora could definitely be encapsulated inside the Soul Stone itself. Yeah.
Well, if that's
very true possibility.
So if that's the case, do you think? I mean, there's been speculations on the internet as well that maybe Thanos might be trapped there too. He may have been, you know, part of the people who disintegrated. Right. And if that's the case, if he's trapped there, you know, if 1 + 1 = 2, then Gamora and Thanos in the Soul Realm should equal the rest of the Avengers and the rest of the world, the universe, really. Do you think that's what happened in the Soul? They're all in the Soul World.
Well, per the comic lore. And like I said, it's still a slippery slope when you mention that and compare these to the MCU movies. Right, but it's good to do a cross comparison. When they shot Thanos at the end of it, looking affront and looking into the distance, it was an allusion to what he was doing in the Infinity Gauntlet after he wiped out half the world. He was still looking in the backdrop, and you still see him in full frame.
Do you really think that that's what happened? That they're stuck? Possible?
Yes and no. Referring back to the comics, he did kill. He didn't trap him in the Soul Stone or anything.
He killed them.
He killed off half the universe. True. But with this, I think they're trying to take a different direction, which is smart because it's a way for them to bring back all those characters that just, you know, vanished. Right. Because if you guys remember, I don't think they really allude to them dying. They allude to them either being gone or vanished, and that was it. Right. You know. So I feel pretty positive about them being banished into the Soul Stone instead. You know. Yeah, I mean it's a very real possibility. Right. Now, if that's the case, we have a couple options. One, that half the universe, along with Gamora, they're stuck in the Soul Stone. Okay. The other possibility, like we said, you know, according to the comic book, it's that they're dead. Yeah, straight up dead. So with that being said, moving forward, what options do they have? What option do they have if we take the road of them being in the Soul Stone? What option do we have for the Avengers to fix this? So we do have the possibility of time travel. Now that's why everyone's been saying all over the internet and speculations, you know, and with time traveling, maybe with, you know, Tony Stark's invention with something, or with Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Time travel, I'm glad you brought that up, because that is a possibility. How far back in time do you go? Do you go before Thanos snaps his fingers? Obviously, you have to go before that point. Do you also go before they're on the planet Titan and he tries to relieve him of his glove? Do you go before that part?
Yeah.
Where Peter Quill gets in the way and screws everything up?
Yeah.
Or do you go all the way to the point to where you have the opportunity to destroy both the Mind Stone as well as the Time Stone? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you had those as an option.
Right.
So they could go back in time, or maybe that gives them another way to solve this, right?
Because in the comics, Nebula, she actually attains the gauntlet, and she reverses time 24 hours prior to everything. But at the end of Infinity War, if you guys look at the gauntlet after he snaps it, it's like
pretty
smoking
damaged.
and it's damaged.
Yeah.
And then in the after scene where Thanos is sitting down, he's relaxing. You see his arm, and it's just totally messed up. So I don't think they might be able to use a gauntlet.
They're going to need to either go back in time, or like per the comics, you said Nebula uses the gauntlet. Different story arcs, different characters use the gauntlet and the Infinity Gauntlet. You have Captain America, you have Spider-Man, you have Iron Man, Nebula, and even Adam Warlock. He uses it, at one point. So they use it to reverse what Thanos did. Nebula does, and so does Adam Warlock. So that means it's a possibility. Mark, you've seen in Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, when Peter Quill uses the Power Stone. Do you remember what happened?
You realize at one point that Peter isn't going to be just the one he can't sustain all that power himself.
Yeah, and he's half a god.
Yeah, he's
to come to find out in Guardians 2 that he's half a god. Yeah. You see that Peter Quill isn't the man to even hold one stone.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, in the cinematic universe, it looks like even somebody like Star-Lord, who can only hold one stone with the help of 3 other friends.
Imagine winning all of them.
I mean, imagine holding all the stones, and that might take sacrifice. That might take one of the main characters, which is probably the reason why one of those main characters is still alive. Yeah. It might be a great closeout for a chapter of one of their lives. Meaning possibly Iron Man or possibly Cap,
Thor, the big 3 who started it up.
So one of them could end up sacrificing themselves to access all these stones. Like you said, the gauntlet's damaged, so maybe there's something that they do there, reverse time to when the gauntlet's not damaged. I mean, there's so many different ways you can go with that. If they're stuck in the realm, same response. You're going to have to get a hold of the Soul Stone.
Yes,
so
that's true.
So whether they're dead or alive, it seems like the Avengers, in order to fix this, they're going to have to get a hold of either the Soul Stone or the Time Stone or all of the stones.
Yeah.
Either that, or they can, with the new Ant-Man and the Wasp trailer that just came out.
The new Ant-Man and the Wasp trailer, which we all watched a few times.
Yeah. They highlighted the whole quantum realm.
Yeah.
And how they can go through that to go into different multiverses.
Yeah.
So maybe they might introduce multiverses in Avengers 4. That's what people are saying around. Maybe they're going to do that and jump through different, universes. But I mean, then again, in the comics, the Infinity Gauntlet, it can only work within that same universe.
True.
So the best thing they can do is either, cross over heroes across verses, or, gain information or give information in order to be Thanos in their own universe.
The quantum realm is actually something that was introduced in Doctor Strange as well as in Ant-Man. There's 3 ways to get there. There's through that shrinking technology, which in the comics was introduced through Ant-Man. That is one way to get to it. Another way to get to it is through the sling ring that we see in Doctor Strange, which he uses to get into different areas of the world as a portal. And then any kind of magical energy used, we saw that used in Doctor Strange with the Ancient One when she transports him into this world that was absent of time and space.
Right.
So sadly, Doctor Strange is dead, so they only have one person to use.
They only have,
That's Ant-Man.
and possibly Wong, because we don't know if he's gone.
Yeah.
So Wong has access. He does have a sling ring. But as far as Ant-Man goes, they're highlighting it in the Ant-Man trailer about Quantum Realm. They talked about it. Luis Pena says it in the trailer, right? That was so random. Like, to hear him say that, like he knew what he was talking about.
Yeah.
But
I want Pena to do a recap of this whole all phase 1 through 3, the way he could tell a story. I want him to do that.
I would pay money to see that. I'd pay money to see Michael Pena recap that. But as far as entering this quantum realm, this is that world to other universes. This is that universe to other universes in different dimensions. So we could see them accessing that. That's a real possibility.
Yeah. So it really picks from Avengers 4, and it shows, Cap, Thor, and all of them, but they're not wearing their usual stuff in Infinity War. They're wearing their old suit and gears back from I think Avengers, right?
From all their first films.
Yeah, from all their first originals. Films. But they're with Ant-Man's, and Tony Stark is wearing a shield suit.
Yes, he is.
Or outfit. I'm sorry. And now that's getting people to speculate, like, they're going through different realms, or they're going
through different times.
Yeah, different times. Yeah. And all that. I mean, and then one of the speculation is that maybe it's none of this. Maybe it's Tony Stark using his barf mechanic. If you guys forgot, where it replays a specific event.
Yeah.
It might be that, but there's a lot of speculations going around the internet right now. So
per this timeline, there's either going to be a hint towards what Ant-Man can possibly do leading up to the next Avengers movie. Mm-hmm. There's also, Justin mentioned this one, and when he brought one, it just reminded me that Doctor Strange saw one outcome. And so it could be the fact that Doctor Strange has a card up his sleeve. I mean, we've seen him take care of Dormammu, and we saw that come out of nowhere.
You mentioned Doctor Strange. He did change his demeanor about whether or not, on the planet Titan, if he was going to, if he had to choose between the Time Stone and the life of Tony Stark or the life of Spider-Man, he would choose the Time Stone. But he changed that demeanor once he ruled out all the possible, outcomes, and it was Tony Stark's life who he saved. He chose Tony Stark's life. So maybe Tony Stark is essential for this outcome. We're going to see more about the quantum realm in Ant-Man and the Wasp. That's coming out again. If I haven't said it, it's going to be released July 6th of this year. Captain Marvel is something that we can just briefly touch on. She was something that was in the after credits scene. If you don't know, Carol Danvers becomes Captain Marvel through Marvel, a Kree warrior, correct? He was Kree. Kree, right? Kree warrior. In Captain Marvel, they hinted at that in the after credits scene when they showed the super high-tech pager. Yeah. So that displayed her logo, and we know that she might be out in space somewhere. She could be out in space, and now she's aware of what's going on. She's very cosmic in that sense, so she might know something about Vormir. She can lend a hand in that aspect.
Yeah, pretty much. They're saying that she's gonna be like the Superman of Marvel, pretty much being like one of the strongest beings there is. So that means that moving on out from here, they're just gonna start probably creeping Marvel characters and making them stronger and more cosmic, going towards that way with it instead of just being earthbound.
It's really up to how they want to go with this moving forward. I personally think someone's going to get sacrificed in the next film in order to use either one or all of the stones. Yeah. But one of those stones need to be utilized in order to see a realistic outcome of people coming back to life and defeating Thanos. Mm-hmm. And the multiverse can lead to that, or the time stone, or just going back in time through another means can lead to that. Yeah. Nebula has played a huge part in the comic series, so we might see Nebula come in out of nowhere, teamed up with Tony Stark.
Yep, she is alive.
She's alive. I mean, the options are limitless.
Oh, yes.
Literally. We mentioned it before, the Time Stone. We mentioned time traveling. We mentioned the quantum realm, which is the multiverse, also known as the microverse. So anything can happen. This is our speculation mixed with others from the internet. This is just everyone's input put in there. Yeah. I'm hedging my bets. I'm gonna see one of the originals die, sacrifice themselves.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Other than that, that is pretty much it. That's our show, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys, found some of the stuff informative. We're very excited to see what's going to happen in Ant-Man and the Wasp. I love Infinity War. If you guys haven't seen it, you shouldn't have seen this. You shouldn't have been at this point. Really?
You screwed up.
You screwed up. please check out our Phase 1 through Phase 3, everything you need to know going into Avengers Infinity War. Check out our vids. The links will be down below. Our links for our Instagram accounts are all down below. Please follow us. We got some funny stuff we post. And also mention our This is Movie Sense. Mark, do your thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to another great episode of Movie Sense. We do these weekly, so yeah, be sure to check us out on the weekly. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at This is Movie Sense, and be sure to use the hashtag This is Movie Sense.
All right, guys. See ya.